I'm a kid from the east side of St. Paul. Grew up over by Lake Phelan, to a family of 5 kids, and we just had a great time growing up. My dad would take us to Winter Carnival events, and probably the earliest thing that I remember is standing downtown St. Paul in the street corner. He had figured out the clues, and we were leaning on the mailbox that the medallion was found underneath. Of course, we didn't find it, but that was probably one of the best memories as a young child that I remember. Well, in 1978, I had this inkling to go into my own practice. We formed our company and got started in a little bitty office of 512 square feet in the back of Victoria Crossing East Mall. From there, we just blossomed and grew, and a few years later, we moved down the street. And previous to that, I worked for Boreas Rex the 24th, Frederick A. Soderbergh. Fred introduced me to a lot of people, one of them being Danny Olson, one of my very best friends. I remember Fred saying, "You got to call Danny, he's got something for you to do," in early 1980 or 81. And so I went and had lunch with Danny. Well, he said, "We need a little help in the park downtown for this thing called Winter Carnival." So yeah, I know all about that. And my first job in Winter Carnival was unloading ice cubes out of a semi-trailer at 2 o'clock in the morning in 70 below wind chills, setting up the ice carving in Rice Park. By the second year, I graduated to putting lights on the landmark center. Those are some of the earliest things that I did in Winter Carnival, and from there I went on to do outdoor events and sports, and got myself a white coat, which those that are old enough remember a white coat was the board of directors and the festival cabinet. And then as time went on, a gentleman by the name of Thomas Hubert. He had been selected to be King Boreas with one caveat: there might not be a festival, because in '92 the carnival was out of money, and we weren't sure if there was even going to be a festival in '93. He said, "But I'm going to prepare as if there's going to be, and I want you to come along as Prime Minister." It was like, ooh, okay, I know that's a big job. But I knew Tom for a lot of years, and if he was confident enough to do it, I thought, I think I can do it. In my mind, Tom saved the carnival in agreeing to step up and do it, win, lose, or draw. We had a condensed festival. We packed everything into 7 days. We had a great royal family. Even our Vulcan crew was kind of good. Yeah, Jerry Lanahan, a winner of the LoBaido Award, which is something that when you people have asked or said that I was going to be honored as this, to be in the company of people like Tommy Barrett, Jerry Lanahan, the Swensons, Darren Johnson, Joe Johnston, blows my mind. It's much more than I think I'm worthy of. The scepter in 1992, Bud Rooney had some issues with his scepter. I was around and I said, I can fix that. I have the shop and small tools and whatever, and I can do that. So I started repairing his scepter, and then the next year, my king, his scepter needed repairs quite often. And as long as I was there, of course, it was have scepters will travel, and we just kept putting things back together. And the following year, with Ted Zwig coming in, we had taken a scepter from a previous king and refurbished it so that he would have a fresh one to use in his year. And after that, we had no scepters left. So Matt had to decide how to make a scepter, and he became Sammy the Scepter Maker, not just the repair shop. And we started putting things together. But you have to take a bunch of flat metal and make these bends and make the top piece, which soldering 8 pieces together in one fall swoop, so they're sort of straight, is not the easiest thing in the world. But the techniques changed over the years, and they got better, I hope. But every one of them is different. I had the privilege of finding out who the king was in advance, so I would know who it was. and there was always something tailored to each king individually for their own scepter. It's little things like, I was talking to Billy Given the other day, and he's so happy about his. It's got a little plate and some silverware on there for him because of his prom center catering business. Tommy Leonard has tires on his. Jim Flaherty had shamrocks all over his. You know, so there's always something that was very personal to each scepter. Probably the best thing for me is I was able to touch each and every royal family by making a scepter and presenting it to the king. So I was a part of that family all the way through. And not just them, but everyone that they knighted was a product of mine. So it gives me great satisfaction in saying that, yeah, I made that scepter, and it's truly a piece of jewelry for that family and that king. A little thing that even probably a lot of the kings don't know, there's a note inside of your scepter from Sammy the Scepter. It just says who made it and when it was made and who it was for. So in the time capsule of things, if someone ever takes the scepters apart, they'll figure it out. The Saint Paul Winter Carnival is probably the biggest community gatherer there is in the fact that it draws people from all walks of life together. To this day, my Winter Carnival friends are probably the closest relationships I have in life. Again, of people that you would never have an opportunity to meet just in actual casual life.